So welcome everyone to the Emerging Technology Meetup group. So we are bringing everyone a lot of valuable technology updates on emerging technologies. So this month we are bringing in on Metaverse, how you can create Metaverse application. What are the tools and technologies you need to know in order to create application into the Metaverse platform. So we are going to look at some of the core principles into the Metaverse applications, and then we are going to build application. We are going to look at how we can create a neo blockchain based Metaverse application. We are going to look at what are the tools and technologies needed in order to create application on this, right? So what is Metaverse? So you can see Metaverse is mostly a three-dimensional open environment. It's a virtual environment. A lot of companies are invested a lot of money building applications into the Metaverse platform. If you look at Facebook and a lot of companies like Microsoft, they have their own versions of Metaverse platforms. But here, mostly the Metaverse or the Web3 technology we discuss about blockchain enable Metaverse, where we can interact using a certain blockchain network, where there are a lot of industry-based platforms like Decentraland, Axie Infinity like platforms. We are going to look at what are the features and what are the capabilities of these platforms and how you can create a platform like that. So most of the users into the Metaverse, they expect some form of 3D into this Metaverse world, and they want to interact and they want to engage with the community within this platform. When they are building the platform, they want to engage within that platform when they are creating the application, right? So the existing, if you look at the gaming world, like MMORPG, massive multiplayer games, are really the initial starting point of this Metaverse earlier on, couple of years ago. And if you look at the Sims like games are again similar gaming examples that we can get from the real world that is going into the Metaverse. But now the trend toward gaming are moving toward blockchain-based gaming, where you can get more interactivity and virtual experience. Where in today's world, a lot of hybrid kind of engagement really important, right? So you need to have like a physical and virtual. So the hybrid kind of engagement can be enabled using the Metaverse. So that is why we are working on this kind of technology. So the blockchain-based Metaverse, the one that we are highlighting, but we can add more capabilities using the open Metaverse technology stacks. So you can see many gaming companies and non-gaming companies working on their own versions of Metaverse technology, and also enabling tools like VR platforms into that. And also they are working on a lot of cryptocurrency based platforms to integrate these Metaverse platforms into the gaming world. So main feature of this Metaverse at the moment are web-based. So main thing as at the technology side, we need to look at how to enable this from the web-based environment. So in the web-based environment, there are limited capability, not like a desktop environment or game console like that. So we have limited capabilities that can run into the web-based environment. So we need to make sure that we are following according to the optimization standards when we are loading our games into the web. So key aspects of blockchain-based Metaverse: digital proof of ownership. So you can own this digital land or digital ownership of this land. So if you look at example like Decentraland, you can see there are a lot of virtual items are there. So you can get the ownership of this digital environment, right? So you can get the ownership of this digital environment. So here you can see this is Decentraland. So here you can get ownership of some virtual, it could be virtual assets, different kind of a 3D lands or things like that. So we can get the ownership, right? There's a certain marketplace within that. So where we can get the ownership of these certain elements, right? So, like starting from NFTs into graphical side, now we are moving into 3D side, right? So three-dimensional kind of NFTs, right? So digital assets that we can have the ownership. So you can see there are certain values associated with that. So you can transact. So you can own this, you can transact with that. So this platform is enabling users to transact or communicate with this digital ownership of the certain elements, right, within the open Metaverse. And once you have that, we can collect digital items. So these items can be collected and like we can resell, or it's going to add a value over a period of time. And it's mostly these are represented as a digital item, so virtual items. So if you look at mobile games also, we have similar things. So in the mobile games, like a couple of years ago, even today's games, we have virtual coins and virtual kind of elements that we can purchase. So if you're getting more addicted into the game, you are tend to buy these kind of virtual items into the game, virtual content. So likewise, it's a similar concepts that we are applying in the open metaverse, where people are engaging more and more, then they tend to buy or then to collect these digital collectible items, right? So it could be represented to the blockchain transaction. So the users can get those things. Then there's a certain transfer value. When you are transferring that from user one to user two, there's a certain transfer value. And also the platform can also get a certain financial value from that. So they can get like the fee, transfer fee from that, right? So that is also another kind of advantage that we can have here. Then the accessibility. So you can access. So most of the blockchains are interoperable. So you can connect from one another. So you can get the accessibility from one another, and you can easily get this interoperability connected into the blockchain platform. That is one of the other kind of advantage that we can have. So we can get everything connected into this interoperable environment. So in today's session, we are going to look at Neo blockchain, how you can connect your blockchain, and how you can get things started actually into the metaverse, how you can get started with the metaverse application development. So the interoperability is quite important. Then only you can work across multiple blockchain platforms. So there are a lot of established blockchain platforms. So where you can add value to the blockchain ecosystem, blockchain platform, by creating these kind of open metaverse platforms. So at the moment, there's still a huge opportunity on different areas. So we can see most of the examples are following certain limited kind of areas, but still we can build another areas, another genres, and we can build applications on top of that. And the governance. So the governance is maintained by the platform. There's a certain regulations we need to follow in order to do that. So we can even create governance tokens in order to manage these kind of transactions, in order to manage and interact with the application. Even we can create like two metaverse platforms can talk to each other like that. So at the moment, that's not happening. There's limited kind of flexibility on that. But in coming years, it will be also possible, like multiple blockchain metaverse platforms can talk to each other. So once you have a virtual item in one blockchain open metaverse platform, you can use that in another metaverse platform. So likewise, you can transact in between these platforms as well. But at the moment, most of the transactions happen between the blockchain network only. Platforms are within ecosystem. They are not interoperable at the moment, but they'll be interoperable in coming years. So we look at some examples of gaming metaverse. Decentralized state as number one kind of open metaverse platform. So it's a blockchain gaming platform. So the gaming and blockchain goes together right now into the building this metaverse application. So where is free-to-play social gaming application, where we have a lot of capabilities. So you can connect your wallet and you can join, and there's a builder section where you can build certain items and you can add certain items from the cryptocurrencies. You can join the community likewise. So you need to have the community ready. You need to have your own community build up here. Like that, you can set up everything together in order to connect all these things, right? So that is one of the things you need to look at when you are setting up these things. So where you can see here, it's going to create a certain builder. So we can create some test scenes, new scenes like that, right? So here we can create a new scene like this. We can set up, and so you can see using Unity technology. So this is why we are using Unity technology most of the time for our development purposes. So I'm going to explain Unity as well in the coming set of slides. So here you can see it's going to enable Unity, and then we can design. So this have a designer feature as well, where we can design some of these digital content. You can add some digital content into this, and you can build the platform from that, right? So likewise, you can see a lot of new capabilities are adding into the metaverse environment compared to previously. So previously we don't have any of this. So with the blockchain and the innovations of the technologies, we can see now enable of new technologies and new innovations, right? So the blockchain gaming is now getting more popular, where we can create more interactive application, and you can have the ownership digitally, like everyone can see the ownership, and you can build a community from that as well, right? So you can go to decentraland.org and you can see how to work with this decentraland platform, and what are the key elements that we can use to interact with this platform. So this is one of the main kind of blockchain platform out there. So let's look at some of its features. Right. So next one is Axie Infinity. So Axie Infinity is more into 2D kind of a environment. So when you are representing, when you are building a game, so there are certain gaming like rendering techniques. So we can represent the game in a 2D view. We can represent a game in a 3D view, and also we can represent a game in a 2.5D. That means in between. So most of these games are using either 2D, 2.5D, or 3D kind of views. So this is the Axie Infinity game. So the Axie Infinity game, you can see here, it uses a 2D kind of a view, where it has some certain story elements added into the game. So here you can see some of the screenshot of the this game, how it looks like, how the effects and things like that. So if it is a 2D game, it's much easier to create in terms of the browser side. It is more like in terms of performance side, it's much easier to work on the 2D game. But if it is a 3D game, you need to look at a lot of optimizations in the browser, because as I mentioned earlier, you don't have a lot of graphical computing when it comes to browser. There's only limited graphical computing we have in the browser. So you need to always think about the limited graphical content or the rendering capability that we have there, right? So this one is also another platform where it's mostly 2D based platform. So you can see it's also a main metaverse based application platform that we can use. So later in the slide, we'll explain more details in depth, but this is just a highlight of the main platforms. Next one is a Sandbox. So Sandbox is also a virtual metaverse platform. So you can go to the official website to search Sandbox blockchain. So there's a sandbox.game. So that is the official website. So it uses mostly 2.5D like technique. So let me share that URL in the chat as well, so you can look at that. So let me share that URL. So here it uses mostly a 2.5D and the more pixelated kind of a graphical art. So when you are building a game, so there are certain graphic arts, right? That's different from like that's coming from game designing mechanics, where there are certain graphic arts that you need to follow. So here you can see you can design a certain avatar, and you can see some of the digital lands you have where you can add these things, right? So here you can see this using a 2.5D kind of the rendering technique, and also it used the more Lego-like graphical structure, more 3D but pixelate kind of a graphical structure. So there are certain graphic layouts that we can define when you are building our application, right? So that is coming part of the game art, right? So you need to have a game artist in order to create this content. So you can define certain game elements like either 3D or 2D. You can define certain game arts, right? And you need to maybe have a game designer to create that, or you need to have ownership of the content, right? You cannot just get the content from the internet. So you need to have a certain ownership of the content, right? So it also maintain a marketplace. So yeah, you can see it also have a digital marketplace like this, where you can get a certain, you can look at a digital item. So like it's like a NFT marketplace, but in 3D. So where you can see a certain digital content, that the ownership, you can own these items, right? Digital items like this. So you can see the token ID, the transaction ID like that. So it have working with the Ethereum network, and the token it uses Sand token, the main token that we use. So sometimes their platforms, they use a certain token to represent their platform, or sometimes they use their own, like directly the cryptocurrency network token directly to transact with, right? Otherwise, they use their own token to transact with as well. It depends on the platform. Then the people can buy, the community members can buy the items. You can see, you can visually see in 3D like this, right? So this is how the typical metaverse application looks like, and the marketplace element also we need to have, right? Once you have these certain elements, you can go into the community and you can engage with the community members, and you can build into this 3D world, right? So let's look at more depth into this. So if you look at Sandbox, there are three main components. Edit section. So most of these have editor section where you can customize or edit your certain scene or certain set of the elements you can edit. Then we have a game marketplace. So where we can define certain marketplace. So people can transact within the marketplace, right? So this is how the marketplace looks like. I have also shown you that, where people can add these elements into this marketplace, and they can transact using this marketplace, right? Then it have its own coin called land. So land is its own token. So using that, so it's mapped with the Ethereum network. So there are established open metaverse platforms, and again there are a lot of other platforms building up. But compared to other blockchain type of technologies like DeFi and other solutions, it's still limited set of platforms out there, because you need to have a different set of skill set. You need to know about creating games, graphic side, and also the blockchain side. So everything need to be connected in order to create a metaverse application, right? Without that, you cannot build this kind of a metaverse application. So you need to have knowledge of all these things in order to build a blockchain-based metaverse platform. So that is why we can still see limited number of metaverse solutions out there, but still the number is getting high, because still even you can see every time there are people interested to play games, right? The gaming side is quite interesting every time. So there are different trends coming time to time. So it was mobile, console, like that. So now more people are trending toward blockchain gaming, where you can even get a revenue while playing the game. So if you look at mobile games and all this, you cannot make money. You also spend money, and you'll get the entertainment out of that. But here you also get opportunity to even make money as a consumer or game player, while getting the entertainment factor as well. So that is why more people are going into this kind of platforms. Yeah, you have a revenue stream, as well as you can earn side income, and also at the same time you can get the entertainment factor that is coming to the gaming experience, right? So that is some reasons that people are going into the blockchain gaming. So Dax Infinity is another gaming open metaverse I showed you earlier. So it is mostly going through a 2D kind of a gaming experiences, 2D kind of a gaming tools. So the marketplace also containing 2D graphics, 2D content to support that. So it moves toward like a history, legend, like quest kind of a gaming mechanics it uses. So you can define, when you are building the game, you can define what is the storyline, what is the features, what kind of the timeline I'm going to represent. It is a current timeline, or the future timeline, or history, or it's a different kind of the experience. Like because if you look at games, there are different genres, like racing games, shooting games, the casual games, like that. So there are like a lot of main genres and subgenres. So you can map your game, metaverse game, into that. So at the moment, most of the games are into the simulation and open world kind of a games. But if you look at racing and other categories, still left behind. So there are still a lot of opportunity to create games and metaverse games into those areas. So X platform also have their own token. So in that, they use mainly the transact with those tokens as well. Then Decentraland, as we discussed earlier, so it uses MENA token, that is their main token, and where people can transact. So that's why the blockchain gaming getting popular. You can earn side revenue, plus you can play the game, right? So earlier, if you play the game, you spend money only, like for console games and everything. You want to pay money, and you need to like spend your time and money to get that. But here, while you get the same gaming experience, you get some side income, like you have a, let's say, NFT that's going to worth some money, then you can resell it and you can earn some money from that as well. So that is an additional advantage that we have from blockchain gaming. And with the Web3 and new innovations, also people are going into the blockchain gaming side. Overall, you can see there are some downward trend toward the blockchain itself with the cryptocurrencies and all this, but gaming is always about entertainment, right? Providing entertainment, all these things. So that is why the gaming industry will be there, and a lot of big companies like standard, big AAA game studios like Ubisoft and all these companies also moving into Metaverse. Then they have billions of dollars investing to the Metaverse platform. If you look at even Facebook, they are investing billions of dollars. Microsoft also same into the Metaverse, but those two at the moment not blockchain based, it's just the Metaverse only. But you can see people are going toward this open Metaverse environment with a virtual experience that we can have. So that is why there are a lot of opportunities within this space to explore. So here also you can see there's a marketplace. We can purchase, transact items from this marketplace as well. Then we look at how to build a Metaverse application. So first is we need to choose what is the technology platform that we are going to use. So if it is, so if you look at gaming platforms out there, we have mainly two platforms. One is called Unity, other is called Unreal. So these are the really good two game engines that is out there. And if you look at Unity, it's really indie related or the beginner friendly. Indie developers are really good with Unity, and we can easily freely download this and use the free version. And it supports cross platform, so mobile, web, any technology it supports. So that's why a lot of people are going into the Unity platform to get started, and we can easily integrate the blockchain with the Unity platform as well. Then we can design. So game designing is a completely different technique. So there's another skill set called game designer. A game designer is a person who actually design the game. So these need to be a creative person, need to design the concept, starting from concept to game mechanics. What is the winning condition? What is the losing condition? How to get the things right, right? If you not put the things right, even though if it is looks nice in the graphical side, but it's not going to be entertainment for the user, right? So because most of the concepts for gaming coming from the movie industry. So if you have a really good actor, a really good location, but if it is not interactive or not giving really good story element, right? Then it's not going to be effective. Similarly, game also, you need to have a good gameplay factor. So if you have a really good gameplay factor, then even with a little bit loose, if the graphics are not good, but still people will play because they want this gaming experience that's coming with the game mechanics, how you set up the game, how the things are placed, things like that. It could be very basic idea, very simple idea, but still if you have that gaming factor, game mechanics, then you can still win the audience. The people will coming back into the platform. So that is the designing part. Then after that, we can build. So we can use tools like Unity to create this experience. So Unity provide a really end-to-end experience. So in next set of slides, I will explain Unity and the basic things of Unity. And in the demo section, I will show Unity and how everything can be connected. So final step is connecting blockchain with Unity. So it could be connecting with certain element in the game or certain interaction or the player performance, player behavior, players characteristics like that. You can define at what level the blockchain related activities can come in, right? So then based on that, we can interact. So based on the certain transaction, based on certain achievements, we can provide certain values, certain coins. If you look at Xbox gaming, we have achievements. So certain, once you reach a certain level, we unlock achievement. So likewise, those achievements are just virtual coins, even those cannot transact between, right? So but here we have a transaction platform, called blockchain, and it actually pegged with the US dollar. So where it have a real value. So that's have a lot of opportunity, but still with the virtual kind of coins and all this, people are like past few decades, people are playing thousands of games, right? On Xbox and all these platforms, people are playing thousands of games while spending their own money. Like they cannot have, even though they have the coins, they cannot make money out of it. Just can unlock some levels or things like that only. But now, if you have these coins, if you get more values from the platform, you can actually transact, right? And you can make money out of it as well. So that is why this blockchain gaming are really popular. Where gaming plus blockchain together, giving you really good kind of a strong experience for the and new experience for the gaming players. So if you can attract existing gamers into the metaverse, right? Because there are two type of users. So there are blockchain users who already using DeFi and other blockchain application. Then there are gamers that's coming from from the Pac-Man eras, like all this time, like for past couple of decades. So if you can attract all these gamers into the blockchain side, it could be casual or like that, then you have millions and millions of users there, right? So it's actually like a crossword between the blockchain and the gaming world, where you can bring all these users into one single platform, right? So that is one of the things that really fascinate about the this metaverse platform. It's giving completely new experience for everyone, because everyone can log in and get value. They don't need to download a software, they don't need to download the game, they don't need to purchase like a certain digital element or like that. Just go to the browser, just start playing like that. So it will be need to be really simple for the user, right? So you can see step one, just select the platform. What is the platform you are going to use? If it is Unity, what are the features of Unity? What are the capabilities that you are going to have in the Unity? You can define those things. So what are the exact features that going to define? So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to discuss some of the features of the Unity in next few slides. And also like any specific platforms that you are differing. Maybe you can build this using existing platform, right? If you are really good beginner, you don't need to create that from scratch. Maybe there are some platforms out there that can create this kind of applications as well. Then the how you can define the gaming experience, like the how you can design whether you are going to use VR headsets to your game, whether it's just a web based only. Then what is the game design looks like, how the behavior looks like. So you need to plan everything. Either it's going to be a 3D game or 2D game or 2.5D. So likewise. Then third stage is interaction layer, where we can join everything together. So the graphic designers can create 2D graphics, 3D graphics and all together. Then the game designers can define the game elements, things like that. So we can bring everything together in the Unity environment, and then we can start building our final application. So we need game developers to do that. So the game developers are the people who are writing some codes, right, from C# or JavaScript, where we can integrate everything together to build the final game. Step 4, connecting blockchain. So the blockchain side, then the connection is quite important. It could be different blockchain networks that we are looking at. So in this, we are looking at Neo blockchain. Similarly, we can look at other blockchain platforms as well. It's really important to understand the underlying blockchain technology and how you can connect a certain blockchain technology, and also how you can interact with that. And when you are testing, there are multiple options. You can test with the local blockchain, you can test with the testnet, or you can test with the mainnet. So before you are going into the mainnet, you can test with local blockchain, and also you can test with testnet as well. Okay, so now we look at how you can get started with Unity development. So we are planning to bring more sessions on Unity also in coming meetups. So development mostly targeted toward casual games, where casual games are, most of the gamers out there playing casual games. You can start with a couple of minutes. You don't need to think too much about playing the game. It's supporting every age group out there. So there are a huge casual game market out there. This is easy to play. You can play in browser, you can play in mobile, like that. So we need to attract this the demographic for this type of gamers into the Metaverse environments. So if you look at a simple game, this is the some of the user flow of the game. So you need to initially start with the game idea. So what is the initial concept behind the game? Whether you are going to, what is the main backstory behind the game, right? So you need to plan that. And also you need to come up with the game design. So I mentioned earlier, like we need game designers to do that. So the game designer can come up with this kind of the initial plan of the game design. So there's a certain document also we need to come up with, which is we call as game design document. So using game design document, we can define our game elements, game mechanics, levels, and all this. So based on that, we can define a prototype. A prototype would be a very simple version of the game. Then according to that, we can create assets. Assets means 3D contents, right? 2D graphics. If you are using 3D modeling, we need to use softwares like 3D Max, Maya. If it is 2D graphics, we need to use Photoshop, Illustrator, like softwares. We need to build content. Then we can also define levels. How many levels will the game have? Each level need to be a little bit more like advanced from the previous level. Then audio design. So for an indie developer, it will be better like you can get the audios from a third-party vendor. You can purchase these audio files, because if you create on your own, you need the audio designer, audio mixer to create these audio sounds. So there are two types of audio sounds in the game, sound effects and background music. So you can see in like really high-end games like AAA games, they have orchestras playing this background music. They perform orchestra based on different scenarios, like just like in the movie, similar experience. So you will get in a AAA kind of game. So they have big budget to spend on the audio designs. But for indie developers, beginners doesn't have that much of a budget. So where we can use the royalty-free content or like third-party content, but we need to have proper license of the audio file. That is a quite important factor. Then developing game. So based on that, we can start building the game. So we can build everything together. So in Unity, it uses C# as the main language. So using C#, we can build this game, and we can connect everything together using the this developing section. Finally comes the fun part where beta testing. Game testing is really a really like a interesting job where you need to play games to make money, right? So likewise, you can use the game for a person who didn't see your game and get their honest opinion, right? Whether it's fun, whether they are interested in the game, what's their feedback. So you can get from multiple age groups, multiple users, multiple kind of users to get honest feedback. Because if the team member play the game, it won't be honest feedback because they spend months on building the game. So they already know ins and out of the game. So they don't get the same experience like outsider would. But ultimately, your game will be played by outsiders, right? From a community or any users or any gamers going to play your game. So that's why need to important to get their feedback. What is the factors that's this game going to be more interesting for the user, or whether it's not going to be interesting for the users, like that. So these are the steps you need to follow. So you need to start with the game idea, game designing part. Then you need to also come up with the assets design, graphic design, level design, then developing game, and the game testing. So you can see in this diagram, the game flow with the starting is going into the loading mode, where we have a menu. So all these websites, you have seen a menu. So in the menu, we have some help and options like how to start, what are the options that you need to follow. Then we have a gameplay mode, how you can play the game, how you can interact with the game. Then game pause mode. And finally, we have the exit mode. So where we can exit from the game. So these are the standard kind of a game modes that you need to follow in your game. These are the standard techniques that you need to have. So then we look at to Unity. Unity is a game engine that is helped to create games much more easily. It's a visual editor and it's component based, right? So where we can add a lot of components and capabilities when you are building the game. So this is a small demo of Unity. Let me play this first. So you can see Unity is supporting many disciplines, not only for game designers, even artists, animators, everyone can connect into the Unity platform. And these are the core components of Unity. We have animations, audio, game physics, scripting, AI. AI in game are quite important if you want to create enemy agent, or if you want to create enemy characters. So in our demo, we are using like other characters. So those characters can perform using the AI agent. So they can do these behaviors from AI agent behavior, and also the networking. So in this one, networking will be the blockchain network we are connecting. The AI is different from game to game based on the different games that we are working on. There's a different AI techniques that we are following. So we need to look at what is the different AI techniques that we are having in our game. And you can see different components within the game. This is a view section, so organize section, and the properties section here. And this is the code. So this is a simple code in C Sharp. The Unity use mostly a C Sharp language where you can easily implement scripting for your game. And you can see Unity supports many platforms, but here we look at how we can connect to blockchain platform. Unity supports a lot of platforms to build your games. And also Unity understand a lot of different graphics types, like image types, audio types, because you need to have certain, cutscenes to game trailers, or in between some videos, things like that. Then certain audio files, like animations, things like that. And this is the standard architecture of a Unity game. So you're adding the assets into the game, and you have main component, main section called scene that is representing within the game. So in a game, you can have a couple of different scenes, and within that we have a couple of objects and components. So that is how the Unity going to set up your complete game. So you can see how these things are placed in. So this is a scene here. This is a game, right? So you can see how these things are placed here. So this is called a scene where you can add a certain element. So here you can see we had the lighting here, we had some sounds, and these are the game objects. So once you click here, it will highlight whatever the thing here. And these are the content, right? So here you can see certain image files, certain audio files, things like that. So once you select a certain game object, you get this kind of a property window. So you can change its positions, things like that. So once everything's completed, you can see that in the game window, where you can easily get everything up and running using the game window as well, right? So these are the standard assets that Unity supports. So where it supports things like 3D models, image, scripting, sounds, font, animations, things like that. So Unity support all of these different graphical formats that's necessary to build a complete game. And you can see here, this is a scene. So the scene is the one that we have multiple objects to build in into the scene. And this is game objects. So the game object could be a character, human character, or different character, or building, or some game effects like fire, water effects, things like that. Then we have different movements here, like transform movement, where we can move the object within the Unity scene. We can move leftward, rightward, like that, different directions we can move the game scene. And these are the game physics. So the game physics is quite important. If you are building a 3D world, you need to have the game physics set up, because this game physics is the one that you need to define certain elements, so like gravity and other physical, game physics related formulas, velocity, all these things we can define. So Unity have built-in physics engine that supports most of these things, right? So where we don't need to define manually any of that, basic physics, real world physics are available within the Unity engine. So we can directly use that in our application, right? So this is the example of graphics in Unity, where in this one it use more advanced, shading. You can see there's a shadow coming from this tree. So that is also a graphical effect called shaders. But in the Metaverse applications, we cannot use that much of advanced graphical effects, because we have limited resources, especially we are running our game in a browser, right? So in the browser, user can open 50 tabs right now. All these browsers can open multiple tabs, right? So then you have limited kind of consumption resources we have, and it use limited CPU also because of browser, right? So that's why we need to look at what are the limitations that we need to face. So you cannot use a lot of advanced graphics, but if you are building console or PC application, of course, we can use a lot of advanced graphics like shaders and other techniques in terms of graphical processing. Then once everything's completed, you can do the build here. So in the build section, it supports different kind of build. So in our blockchain application, we can build using the web platform. So we are going to build as a WebGL platform because our game need to run on the browser. So we need to create the application that can run on the browser. So this is the steps of installation. You can go to unity3d.com and you can download the latest version. So each of the version have different kind of changes of these features, and it's now use Unity Hub to install multiple version. So you can have multiple versions within your environment. You can configure it as well, right? These are the things I mentioned earlier. We have the scene, then the game window, component window, object browser, like that, right? These are the things that we discuss, right? So now we'll go into this game window project panel, right? So here you can see the project elements. This is the inspector that once you select the item, you can see the properties here and the build. So now we will go into the blockchain part where we are using NeoLast XDK to build our blockchain based application. So let me share the official URL in that. So this is the one that we are going to integrate from the Neo blockchain into our application. So let me share the official URL. So here you can see once you connected, you can see the wallet address and other information related to the game in your application, right? So this is a sample code how it can be connected into our application. So here you can see we are connecting neodb.mainnet. So if you mention mainnet, we are connecting from the main blockchain network. If you mention testnet, we are connecting from the test network. Or we can connect from the local RPC. That means the local network as well. So once you initialize your configuration, you can connect with the game, and then we can invoke these functions at a certain level. It could be different activities, different milestones, or different achievements. We can invoke this, right? At the same time, most of these platforms have its own NFT marketplace where you can also interact when they are use these NFT items within the game. You can also invoke the blockchain-based transaction. But it's up to you to create. So you don't need to necessarily create an NFT marketplace for every metaverse application you are creating. You can create an application, metaverse application that have like achievements or like those kind of milestones, and you get certain values out of it. Like that, you can build. It's completely open. Like there's no specific rules set up. So decentralized and all this, they set up their own rules when they are building their platforms, but it's completely open. You can come up with new innovative ideas to build this. So you can see the compatibility at the moment. It supports Unity at the moment, Mono. Xamarin version still untested. There are some bugs in that if you want to use this blockchain into mobile in Xamarin.net at the moment. But you can see Unity is supporting and it's working, and we are using in our application as well. So in this one, you can see this is how it looks like, where you can see the wallet address, and this is our 3D open world that we created in Unity. So let me open up Unity. So in the Unity, you can see this is the 3D world that we have created like this. This is a 3D scene where we have a lot of these elements. So you can see we have different characters like female characters, male characters like this. So in this, we can apply things like AI capability. So it can automatically go into certain waypoints, things like that. We can even have certain conversations, things like that. Then this is the main player. So the player interaction like this. Here you can see. And these are the like trees. You can see we have trees here, sideways, right, fence, like that, different boundaries and buildings, like different buildings, right? You can see here the entire the world that we created. like this is a city kind of a open world that we created here. And here you can see the Neo Manager, where we can define our private key, and we can create a script to set up this, right? So you can see we have a certain script set up here in this one, where it use Neo Lux framework. Here you can see Neo Lux core, Neo Lux cryptography, and util. And then let me get the code here. So here you can see we are setting up a private key and a key pair. Then we are setting up the Neo API. Then based on that, we are integrating this from the private net, or you can define either mainnet or the RPC, local RPC as well. And then you can define the local address label, and you can get the wallet address from there. So now once the code is updated, you can test out all this. So you can see this is the scene window, this is a hierarchy window, this is the inspector window. So if you select a certain character, you can see there's properties related to that object will pop up. So if you select the player, the property related to that player is object will come here, where you can configure that. So let me play this. It will go into the game mode, and you can see how it's interactive. Right, so you can use mouse and keyboard to interact, and then you can work around the environment. And also we integrated the blockchain network using the Neo Manager into that. So the certain elements, then we can connect the blockchain elements, blockchain-based transactions and interaction into this. And building this, we need to build this to the web environment, right? As I mentioned earlier, Metaverse applications by default at the moment runs on the web environment. So we need to make this in the web, and also we need to make it compatible also, because for 3D, you can see there's a lot of graphical effects. You can see when there's a shadow coming from this person, and these 3D models are there. So we have optimized it somehow, but still we need to further optimize it and get it running in the browser in a much more optimized way. So when you want to build this into the browser, what do you need to do? So you can go to the build settings, and then you can see here, we can give WebGL. So WebGL is a web-based platform that we can provide. Then select this folder, and then it's going to build our project into the WebGL. So it will create the web-based game based on the project or the scene that we have here. Is going to create a web-based application, right? So that is what we need to create ultimately into the Metaverse application. Then we can host this. We can host this application in a certain server, and then we can transact from that. So that is how everything going to connect, right? That is how everything going to connect in this kind of application. So we need to go use either Unity or Unreal like technology to build our game. Unity is really good, where it have more community support and more support in terms of building our application. Then we need to integrate the blockchain part into the game, how you can build the wallet and all together. So you can see the web-based one right now is loading. Right, so like that you can see we can build the web-based solution as well, and everything that we see in the game window is going to be built into the web-based environment. But you need to again further optimize because this is running in a desktop environment. So when we come to the web-based environment, we need to further optimize these things and get the really working everything need to work into the optimized way, because then here we need to also consider multiple players coming into the system, right? The multiplayer feature, multiple users coming into the platform, and how we can look at those capabilities as well, right? So altogether, we need to think everything into that. So this is just a starting session, that how we can get started with these kind of things and how we can build the application. We are planning to bring more sessions like that to get you more understand with the blockchain open metaverse and how you can build solutions like this. So let me go back to the slide. So more resources are available in developers.neo.org. So in today's session, we look at how we can build a blockchain-based open metaverse, what is open metaverse, the technology platform, and how you can create certain games on that platform, and how you can connect Neo Lux environment, and then how you can build that into the web-based environment. So if you have any questions, you can ask. You can put the questions in the chat, or you can ask, you can unmute yourself and you can ask any questions. We can have a few minutes to discuss Q&A. Right, so you can use the Unity. Let me share the site. It's just unity.com. Let me share the URL. You can download the game engine from official one from unity.com. So it have a lot of capabilities. You can download the latest one. Now Unity used for architecture, filming, automotive, kind of other industries as well. But here we are interested in the gaming side, how we can create certain gaming experience from the Unity game engines. So you need to get a little bit more familiar with the Unity engine in order to build this application. But other than that, there are other 2D JavaScript platforms like Facier engine and other JavaScript-based game tools are there. But the limitations are there. That's the issue. There are certain limitations when you come to more advanced customizations, graphics, and things like that. So that is where the Unity is really good at, where we can do a lot of things using the Unity platform. So that is one of the advantage of using Unity over other. So in this session, we look at how we can build the metaverse application. What is metaverse application, and what are the examples, and then how you can master Unity, how we can look at Unity platform, and then how you can connect everything together from blockchain to Unity and build and get a final output, right? So if you have further questions, you can email to us, you can write to us and let us know. And we are planning to bring more sessions, meetups like this in coming months with a lot of emerging topic areas. So stay tuned to our meetup groups. We'll bring more updates, and also we'll be sharing the session recording later. This session is recorded, so we'll be sharing session recording. So any questions we can discuss. So then make sure to build these certain applications and go through these things. If you have any further questions, you can contact us as well. Thank you.